Hi everyone, my name is Gwynelle Condino. I am an undergraduate student ambassador for the Asian American and Asian Resource and Cultural Center, or the AARCC for short, at Purdue University. And today I'm going to be showing you all how to make Dessert Siopao. I just wanted to say thank you for voting for me. I'm really excited that you guys are all excited to see and to learn how to make the dish that I'm preparing today. Before we get started, we at the AARCC just want to bring some attention to some of the struggles that Asian and Asian American communities are facing because of systematic racism and the desire to fit in. Some Asian and Asian American individuals, as well as some loved ones at the AARCC, have expressed hesitation of bringing Asian lunches to school when they were younger for fear of being mocked for how different it was. For many of us, I think it may not be as easy to share some of our stories and our food the way that we did on social media, but we just want to bring some encouragement by reminding you all just how amazing the stories behind our food is. Okay, let's get started. So first things first, you want to roll your sleeves up a little because they're gonna get a little messy. I like to tie my hair back just because I don't like to have it in my face or let it get in my way. And then you need to gather your ingredients. So we're gonna start off by making the filling first. So the filling is made out of cream cheese. You're gonna need 8 ounces. If you buy them in bulk like we do, it's approximately half a pound. So feel free to cook or to cut that and put that to the side. You're gonna need an egg, and then you're gonna need some sugar, a cup of sugar, and a teaspoon of vanilla, but I don't have vanilla and you don't necessarily need it for this recipe. So if you don't have vanilla, you can substitute it with maple syrup or honey, or you don't really need it. It doesn't really affect the flavor as much for this recipe, but you're definitely gonna want a medium-sized bowl, medium to large-ish, and you're also gonna want another bowl, not this size, way bigger than this size. So I'm gonna start off by putting the cream cheese on my chopping board just because I don't want to chop it on my surface. And I'm gonna take off the plastic. If you have plastic on it, make sure that doesn't get in your food, and plop it inside of your bowl. Take a cup of sugar, 3. Yeah, so I put 3. I'm gonna put a little bit more sugar into the bowl just because I'm not putting any vanilla, so I kind of want it a little sweeter, but feel free to only put in a cup if you don't want it super sweet. I'm only putting maybe, I'm not really measuring, I'm just kind of eyeballing it, but just a little bit, so just like that much. And then you're gonna wanna grab your whisk and just cream it together. Definitely feel free to use a stand mixer or a hand mixer as well. You can definitely use that. I like to use this just because I'm not really familiar with using, and the last time I used a hand mixer it went everywhere and I kind of don't want it to do that again. So I'm gonna keep using my whisk. Okay, after a couple of minutes of creaming, it should look kind of like this. So it should be a lot easier, I guess I should say, to kind of whisk it and mix it. And then you're gonna want to crack your egg in. Just whisk your egg in as well. But yeah, just keep mixing it until it's pretty combined. Yep, set your whisk aside. Yes, get your cling wrap and cover your creation. You're gonna leave this in the refrigerator until you need it. So maybe for about an hour, maybe 2 hours, depending. Okay, now that our filling is in the fridge, make sure you go wash your hands and you dry them. And now we're gonna make the dough for the siopao. So you're gonna need a medium to large size bowl again. But then you're also gonna get an extra large bowl just for the dough because it's gonna rise. So get the biggest one that you have in your house and use that. Feel free to cut this recipe in half. It still makes a good amount. You might have a little extra filling, so feel free to cut the filling recipe in half as well. But yeah, let's get started. So first, you're gonna wanna put 1 cup, just kidding, 2 cups of warm water into this bowl. Once you've done that, grab your sugar, and we're gonna put 2 tablespoons of sugar. And then when you're done with that, you're gonna wanna grab some active dry yeast. And you're gonna put 2 tablespoons or another 6 teaspoons of active dry yeast. And then you're gonna wanna use a spoon, or I use a chopstick to just mix it around. So this is what it should look like after you've mixed it. Okay, so you're just gonna set this aside and let it bloom for a couple minutes. And while we're waiting for that to bloom, we're gonna move into making the flour. So like I said, I'm gonna be using a lot of flour and a lot of sugar just because I doubled this recipe, so feel free to cut it in half. First, you're gonna put in 5 cups of flour. So I've been displaced to the basement, and while I was moving all my stuff down here, I had to put in the yeast already. So you put your bloomed yeast in, but before you do that, you have to put in 5 cups of flour and 3/4 cup of sugar. And you add in your yeast and you just mix it together. And you're gonna take your baking powder and you're gonna use 1 tablespoon or 3 teaspoons of baking powder. And then you just mix that again. And then you're going to want to put 6 tablespoons or 18 teaspoons of shortening. Mix that until it looks pretty combined, and then we're gonna get into the fun part, which is kneading the dough. So you wanna make sure that you wash your hands again for this, just in case, and make sure you have some extra flour handy just so that it's not as sticky. And then you're gonna take your giant chopping board if you have one. If not, then get a clean surface that's good for dusting, because you're gonna dust with some flour. And take your dough and put it on your dusted surface. It should not stick to your hands or the surface. That's the kind of consistency you want before you start kneading. So I had to have my sister videotape me right now because I have to knead the dough, and all this movement is making my phone fall. So yeah, here's Aerrielle. Hi. And then you're gonna wanna push in and roll it back like that. So you're gonna wanna keep doing this for about 5 to 10 minutes. It's gonna be an arm workout, but I guess it could be your workout for the day. So when you're done, it should look kind of smooth like this. And what you wanna do is you wanna grab your cooking oil, put a little bit on your hands, and you wanna kind of pat your dough, and then you pick it up, pull everything to the underneath, kind of cover it in the oil, and then plop it back into the pot that you, or the bowl that you used to cook. And then you're gonna cover it with cling wrap, and you're gonna let it sit for an hour. Hello, welcome back. We just waited an hour for our dough to rise. It should look like this. It's pretty pretty tall now. There's a lot of it in there. Okay, so Aerrielle's gonna be cutting the parchment paper into small squares, which you're going to place underneath the siopao. And I'm going to be chopping our siopao. And you're gonna take your risen dough. It should be kind of warmish. It's okay if it's not though. Just slowly and gently put it on your floured surface. Cut it in half. Chop it again. Yep, so you're just gonna keep cutting them in half. Over and over. Feel free to only use 16, which will in total make 32. I think I'm gonna make a little more, but that's just because mine look kind of big right now and I kind of want smaller sizes. You want to flatten out the sides only, and you want to make sure that there's kind of like a bump in the middle. But yeah, you want it to be able to kind of fit in the palm of your hand, and you want to be able to cup your hands as well. So you have your filling. You want to get a spoon, and then you're going to take just a little bit. You're going to take your spoon, and you're going to put just a little bit of filling, not too much. And then you're going to want to close it by bringing all the sides together. And then you're going to want to fold it and kind of pinch all of them to the top so that they kind of look like this. And then you're going to get your parchment paper, and then you're going to flip it over. And that is what it should look like. And then you're just going to keep doing that. Or what are some good memories of siopao that you've had?
Eating siopao. Your question's not good.
Aerrielle, have you or any of your friends ever been made fun of for bringing Asian food
Yes.
to the cafeteria?
Yes.
Why? And
Multiple
how?
times.
This year?
Not only this year.
When? What happened?
Many years.
What happened?
Including this year.
Why? What happened?
Okay, ask me the question again.
Have you or any of your Asian/Asian American friends been mocked or made fun of for bringing Asian food to school?
Yes.
Why? And like,
what
was your
why?
experience?
Because they're mean.
Okay, what was your experience?
It's just because it was like different. You know, in school they serve. I don't even know what they serve. I've never bought lunch before. It's just because there was like rice, and I was eating. Sometimes I come to school eating with chopsticks. It was just different than what they served in the cafeteria, or what they eat at home.
You got sad?
Not sad, just offended.
You were offended? So what did you do?
Well, the reason why they were acting that way is because they've never had it.
Okay.
So they were being close-minded.
Okay.
And not accepting
Okay.
of me and my food.
So what? Did you stop bringing food?
No. What?
Okay.
It's my food.
That's true.
Next question.
What was the story of your friend?
So my friend and I were Asian. Both pack lunch every day.
Okay.
We don't buy lunch from the school cafeteria. And there were instances where one of our friends would be like, "Oh, why are you eating that?" Or like, even if it wasn't Asian food, it was just, it looked like Asian food, I guess you could say, right? Is that, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just like, why you? She was like, she told my friend, are you packing that Asian food again? She didn't say food, but, and my friend took offense to that. Not just because,
I would too.
well, not only because it's your food and obviously it's something that was made for you, but because it was food made and sent to her family by a family friend who owns an Asian food store. And she actually really likes the food, and they were kind enough to send it to her. So that particular day, she just really took offense to the comment my friend made about it. Yeah, there was a time where I brought lunch to school, and then because of the lunch I usually bring, they assumed it was like something similar, but this person asked me what it was, and I said it, and it's like, I feel like it's normal. I feel like it's a normal lunch food. It was like, okay, the only like different thing was that there was rice. And I said what it was, but then there were some remarks made and like stuff like and comments that were made about it. So then I because my lunchbox was like a cube kind of, I put my food behind, like in front of it, I guess. Kind of shielding it from
So you're hiding
the person
your food?
across from me. Well, not hiding. I was just trying to hide myself eating, so I could eat without kind of ignoring them.
Okay.
But then I got my food pushed onto me and onto the floor. And then so yeah, all my rice was on the floor, and I was really sad because I couldn't eat that day.
Okay, what do you have to say to the people that are scared to bring food because they don't want to be made fun of?
Oh, I was at one point that person. Don't be
Don't be why?
scared, because why would you try and change who you are for someone else?
Whoa, that's a good one!
Yeah, it's not worth it to try and change what you do if you enjoy it and they have no legitimate reason as to why they're doing that to you. Don't be ashamed, because whether you made it yourself or whoever made it for you, they worked hard to make it, so don't let somebody else tell you otherwise or make you feel otherwise.
Welcome, my brother. He's going to help us. This is Vlad.
Yeah,
So, have you ever been made fun of because of your food? Because of the food that Mama packs? So, were you ever made fun of for bringing Asian food to school?
Yeah, actually, I had a conversation about this with my friend last night because she's Japanese, and in elementary school,
names.
they were embarrassed. We connected because we both talked about how we were embarrassed in elementary school. I would bring rice and other types of Filipino food, and she would bring bento boxes, and people would make fun of her. My friend talked about how we were embarrassed to bring our lunches to school because, they were very different from everybody else's. And so we would just pack sandwiches. For me, up at, throughout middle school and elementary school, all I would pack was sandwiches and sandwiches. I didn't really bring rice or any other type of Asian thing like noodle and stuff.
So, what advice would you give to people who are struggling through the same thing?
Of what, packing food?
Of their lunches being
they're also being, they're also
Really, just any food that you want. It doesn't matter what you bring to school to eat, because that's your preferred meal. Okay, that's what you're used to. You don't have to try and change to fit other people's ideas or something. You don't have to
Have you ever been discriminated against because you were Asian?
Oh yeah, plenty of times. It's the stereotypes. It's the stereotypes. You know what I mean? Asians, they're so good at math and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's they would always,
in high school, people are lazy.
Oh my.
So it's not, it's because it was obvious that they weren't putting the work into the class. So when I ended up doing better, grade wise, when I ended up performing better, they'd be like, oh, you only scored higher than me because you're Asian. Especially if it was math or science.
It's more that I don't fit the stereotypes sometimes. When people be like, oh, you should be good at this and that and this and that. Sometimes I don't like doing things that they would expect me to. People expect me to do really good in music, but I'm not good at music. How there's the thing they're really good at bassoon, they're really good at the violin because they practice 4 hours a day or something. But in reality, I'm really bad at it. And I feel like once I don't fit that, if I don't fit that stereotype, then it's like, is he really Asian though?
The reason why they're treating you that way, like the reason why they're like, oh, you're supposed to be good at this, is because they already have a set view and perspective on who you're supposed to be to them.
If you watch,
so you're not fitting that person to them.
How do you feel about the stereotypes?
Bad.
Stereotypes are obviously they're based off of things that happen. That's why they're stereotypes, because some of them are true, you know, but they're just exaggerated a lot. They're hyperbole.
Wow.
So some stereotypes, you know, it's more like that's the only way people see you, you know, and that's what I don't appreciate about it.
I often get the one about my eyes.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like they're like, how can you see?
Oh, I hate that one. Okay, so we just put the first batch of siopao into the steamer, and we're gonna let them steam for 12 to 15 minutes. And then the rest of this will go into the other batch. So we're just gonna show you the end results. Okay. Okay, so we just finished, and this is what it should look like. The timer just rang. It should not look too doughy. It should look pretty consistent as well. You can touch it and it should be kind of firm. Okay, so this is the final product. This is actually just our first batch, so there's actually 2 or 3 more batches left. This is only a few.
Okay, you may not see the filling, but you
yeah.
can taste it everywhere.
Because it's super sweet.
God. Go comment below and tell us what else, what other art challenges we should do.
This one.
What other things? What other things we should complete. And yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.
Thank you. Subscribe.
Thank you.
It's a YouTube video?
Oh,
It's my first time being on YouTube.
it's not my first.